Hello and welcome to The Green Room by Deloitte, an award-winning podcast where we explore the topics that matter most in business. I'm George Parrott and this is episode number 54 and the start of a brand new season. Hello and thank you so much for tuning into this episode of The Green Room. As I said, it's a brand new season and I'm joined by my wonderful co-hosts, Lizzie and Ethan. How are you both?
Hey, George, very well, thank you. Great to be back. Really happy to be back in the Green Room. Been a bit of a break and looking forward to getting a new season underway. I can't believe we're on season 7.
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah, we've had a short break just to sort of refresh, relax a little bit and plan a brand new season. But where did you guys spend your summer?
So I basically worked all through summer. Yeah, it wasn't the most exciting. I went to a wedding in January, an Indian wedding, would strongly recommend.
Oh, amazing.
But that used up a lot of my holiday. So nothing for me, but I do have Canada on the cards, which I'm really excited about.
We've just got back from Canada.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. You'll have a fantastic time. It depends how you're doing it. We hired a camper van and spent 10 days driving around the Rockies, which was great, but maybe one day would have been better in a camper van, but if you're doing that, you'll love it.
Yeah,
Fantastic. We have a great time.
Nice. And saw any bears?
No bears, unfortunately. No, all this talk about bears, and I was all fully prepared to encounter one, but nothing, unfortunately.
I've got the bear spray ready just in case.
Yeah, no, we had bear spray and everything. Maybe that's why. Anyway.
I mean, 10 days driving around, Lizzie, that's a lot of time to listen to all of the Green Room back catalogue.
Yes, it is.
So no excuses. How was your summer, George?
Yeah, it was really good. I managed to come back from Cornwall with a tan, so I was pleased with that.
Nice.
But
Can't fully tell, but
yeah, it's there. You can definitely see it. Very much looking forward to cracking on to a brand new season. So
Absolutely. And as we said, it's great to be back. And I'd like to say we're all here, yourself, George, Ethan, me, but in fact, we're one host short. And over the summer, we've spent some time getting the word out there, doing some auditioning, and delighted to announce that we have a new host for the Green Room. Her name is Annie Wong. Welcome, Annie.
Hello.
Hi, Annie.
Nice little intro.
Hi.
Annie, welcome to the Green Room.
Thank you.
We had a bit of an audition process, didn't we? Do you want to tell us a bit about that and of course, a bit more about yourself?
Yes, it was a rigorous process, very grueling. The first part was a video submission and the second part was an in-person audition in the studio with a guest, so a proper screen test.
Fantastic.
Yeah, wow.
Far more stringent than I think what we had to go through.
And it wasn't your first time on the podcast, was it? Because we recorded an episode together, in fact, back in our early days. And I think
very early days, I think, yeah.
We've been going, I don't know, one season or something. It was me and George on One Young World.
Yes, that's right. And my role has evolved quite a lot since then. So I now work in our public sector social value team, which is all about ensuring that Deloitte plays its part in driving positive societal outcomes through our client work.
Fabulous. Well, Annie, as you know, the Green Room is all about asking the big questions. So we thought we'd put you on the spot a little bit and ask you some questions.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes, let's go.
So first question is drawn from an icebreaker, I think, from a previous episode that I'd like to ask you, which is, what did you want to be when you were a child?
I wanted to be, funnily enough, a TV presenter. And I am very often a TV presenter at home in the kitchen while I'm cooking to an audience of no one. And I have a great time. I run a great show.
I bet you do.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you do. We've got the real thing now.
Yeah, I was the same theme. So so many icebreakers over 50 plus episodes. So I tried to listen to a few. What was one of my favorite? I think one of my favorites was, if you were an emoji, what emoji would you be?
Definitely the party emoji with the hat and the streamer.
Brilliant.
Oh, yeah. That was
great for us.
Yeah, I love a party, love a good time, always try and bring, kind of bouncy energy. So absolutely,
Nice.
party
Fabulous.
emoji.
I love
Just
that.
seeing it.
I've noticed that on the WhatsApp group, actually. And
I think I chose the crying face on that episode. I think it was an early morning one.
Well, I think, Annie, so delighted that you're here. Rather than these sort of questions, I'm going to ask you the hard-hitting questions, I think. So could you tell us what's your second favourite pizza topping?
I think I'll have to go with basil, fresh basil.
Interesting.
Controversial.
Yeah.
If indeed it is a topping.
Yes,
I suppose it is.
Or garnish.
it is for me.
A garnish,
Yes.
by the way.
all the topics in the world and Basil.
Yeah. I think it's a topic. It is. It's
It
a
is,
topic.
and it's
Couch
delicious.
out.
So we'll give you
And
that.
cheese, favourite topping, elevate it to the next level. Basil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, refined.
Loving it.
Yeah. It's great to have you here, Annie, and I'm sure our listeners are now thinking, what are the episodes that are coming up and what sort of topics will we be talking about in the new season? So we're starting on Thursday with our kickoff episode, which is all about how leaders could maybe learn from activists and should leaders act more like activists, and we've got some great guests booked for that. And then we've got lots of more hard-hitting topics to come, so not quite pizza toppings, but we've got how can you feel more like you're belonging, and that coincides with Black History Month. And we've got how to be more of a sustainable consumer. And we'll also be exploring what happens if everyone in society lived to 100. But the most exciting piece of news for me personally is apparently the Green Room is going on the road. And what that means exactly, I have no idea. But it sounds like live audiences. It sounds like lots of bloopers.
Yeah.
So,
Watch out, everyone.
excited for that.
And I just wanted to do a quick shout out to our listeners. I might be new to this pod, but one thing I do know is that the Green Room listeners are amazing. And there's been lots of activity on Deloitte's LinkedIn page, and you have responded in the thousands, including a vote on the topics you would like to see, and a really interesting conversation around financial crime, which ties in really nicely to episode 50, where Ethan and our guest host Tiffany asked what's the truth behind financial crime. So thank you so much to everyone who's given feedback and continues to be involved in the pod. We really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And in fact, on that note, if you do have any comments or topics you'd like us to look into, then don't forget you can always email us at greenroompodcast@deloitte.co.uk. And if you listen on Spotify, very exciting, we have a new functionality for you to be able to interact with us. Just use the Q&A feature when you listen to Spotify to tell us what you think about the big question of the week. It'll appear next to the episode when you give us a listen. And thank you very much to all of you who have already sent messages to us, including Fred, Zoe, and maybe it's the Marvel superhero, but probably not, Hawkeye. Thanks to you all.
Well, I'm fascinated to hear about all of these listeners getting in touch, and I think that's probably all we have time for this opening episode of the new season. So thank you everyone for that. And as Ethan said, we've got a really exciting episode coming up on Thursday with Lizzie and I talking all about activism and leadership. But it's not all about megaphones and placards. We're really going to get into the nuts and bolts about what makes a leader tick. So tune into that one when that comes out.
So that's all for today. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Green Room by Deloitte. We'll be back on Thursday with a new big question. This podcast is produced by our very own Pod Squad and hosted by George Parrott, Lizzie Elston, Ethan Worth, and Annie Wong. Thanks to our creative studio for their technical support. Original music by Ali Barrett.